Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Devi Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So, continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 13, the advent of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, text 27 onwards. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is chronologically giving in summary form the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vivaha karile haila navina jovana sarvatra lavila prabhu nam sankirtan. After his marriage, his youth began, and in his youth induced everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra anywhere and everywhere. So that was his first marriage with Lakshmi Priya. Poganda Vaya se padin padana shishya gane sarvatra karena Krishna namera vyakhyan. During his Poganda age, he became a serious student, also taught disciples. In this way, he used to explain the holy name of Krishna everywhere. And taught disciples. First, he taught, by this time he was not initiated. So, first, he taught according to the logics of grammar, Sanskrit grammar. Sutra vritti panji tika Krishne te tatparya shishera pratita hai prabhava yashatya. When teaching a course in grammar, Vyakaran, and explaining it with notes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught his disciples about the glories of Lord Krishna. All explanations culminated in Krishna, and his disciples would understand them very easily. Thus, his influence was wonderful. Srila Jiva Goswami compiled a grammar in two parts, named Lagu Hari Namamrita Vyakaran and Brihad Hari Namamrita Vyakaran. If someone studies these two texts in Vyakaran or grammar, he learns the grammatical rules of the Sanskrit language and simultaneously learns how to become a great devotee of Lord Krishna. So this is how wonderfully Jiva Goswami has compiled these two books. In the Chaitanya Bhagavad Madhya Khanda, there is a statement about the method by which Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught grammar. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the aphorisms of grammar to be eternal, like the holy name of Krishna. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vedasya sarver ahamev vidya. The purport of all revealed scriptures is understanding of Krishna. Therefore, if a person explains anything that is not Krishna, he simply wastes his time, laboring hard, without fulfilling the aim of his life. So purport of all revealed scriptures is understanding of Krishna. If that is not what we have come to understand or come to the conclusion, then it's just simply waste of time. If one simply becomes a teacher or professor of education, but does not understand Krishna, it is to be understood that he is among the lowest of mankind, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Naradham Mayaya Pratagyana. If one does not know the essence of all revealed scriptures, but still becomes a teacher, his teaching is like the disturbing braying of an ass. Gosh, Prabhupada is heavy. Disturbing braying of an ass. If he becomes a teacher, but does not understand and does not teach the essence of revealed scriptures. Jara deka tara kaha Krishna naam. Krishna naam bhashaila navadvipagram. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a student, he asked whomever he met to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this way, he inundated the whole town of Navadvip with the chanting of Hare Krishna. The present Navadvip Dham is but a part of the whole of Navadvip. Navadvip means 9 islands. These 9 islands, which occupy an area of land estimated at 32 square miles are surrounded by different branches of the Ganges. In all 9 of those islands of Navadvip, there are different places for cultivating devotion service. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that there are Navavida Bhakti, 9 different activities of devotion service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Bandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So there are different islands in Navadvip area for cultivation of these 9 varieties of devotional service. They are as follows. So one is Antardvip. So Shravanam corresponds with Antardvip. Kirtanam with Simantadvip. So like that. Smaranam Godram Dvip, Pada Sevanam Madhyadvip, and Archanam Koladvip, Vandanam Ritudvip, Dasyam Janudvip, Sakhyam Modram Dvip, and Atmanvedam Rudradvip. According to the settlement map, our ISKCON Navadvip Center is situated on the Rudradvip island. Both below Rudradvip in Antardvip is Mayapur. There Shri Jagannath Mishra, the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, used to reside. In all these different islands, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a young man, used to lead his Sankirtan party. He thus inundated the entire area with the waves of love of Krishna. So one of these days, or one of these years, we'll go to Navadvip and do proper parikrama and darshan. Kishore vayase arambila sankirtan, ratra dene preme nritya sanghe bhaktagan. Just prior to his youthful life, he began the Sankirtan movement. Day and night he used to dance in ecstasy with his devotees. Nagare nagare brahme kirtana kariya, bhasha ila tribhuvan prema bhakti diya. The Sankirtan movement went on from one part of the town to another. As the Lord wandered everywhere performing kirtan, in this way he inundated the whole world by distributing love of Godhead. One may raise the question how all 3 worlds became inundated with love of Krishna, since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed kirtan only in the Navadvip area. The answer is that Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. The entire cosmic manifestation results from the Lord's first setting it in motion. Similarly, since the Sankirtan movement was first set in motion 500 years ago by Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire that it spread all over the universe, the Krishna consciousness movement, in continuity of that same motion, is now spreading all over the world. And in this way, it will gradually spread all over the universe. With the spread of the Krishna consciousness movement, everyone will merge in an ocean of love of Krishna. So he started it over there, and since he is Krishna himself, everything comes from him. So it's been spreading all over. 24 vatsarai che Navadvipa grami, laila sarva loke Krishna premanam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived in the Navadvip area for 24 years, and he induced every person to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and thus merge in love of Krishna. 24 vatsara chila kariya sanyasa, bhakta gana laya kaila nila chalevans. For his remaining 24 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after accepting the renounced order of life, stayed at Jagannath Puri with his devotees. Tare madhya nila chale chaya vatsara, nitya gita prema bhakti dhan nirantara. For 6 of those 24 years in Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, he distributed love of Godhead by always chanting and dancing. Setu Bandha Aragoda Vyapi Vrindavana Prema Nama Prachariya Karila. Beginning from Cape Comorin or Setu Bandha, which is Rameshwaram, and extending through Bengal to Vrindavan, during these 6 years, he toured all of India, chanting, dancing, and distributing love of Krishna. Ei Madhya Lila Naam Lila Mukhya Dham Shesha Ashtadasha Varsha Adi Lila. The activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his travels after he accepted sannyas are his principal pastimes. His activities during his remaining 18 years are called the Ante Lila, or the final portion of his pastimes. तार मध्य छय वत्सर भक्त गण संगे प्रेम भक्ति लाइला nitya gita range. For 6 of those 18 years, he continuously stayed in Jagannath Puri. He regularly performed kirtan, inducing all the devotees to love Krishna simply by chanting and dancing. Dwadash Vatsar Shesh Rahila Nila Chale Prema Vastha Shikhaila Aswadana Chale. For the remaining 12 years, he stayed in Jagannath Puri. He taught everyone how to taste the transcendental mellow ecstasy of love of Krishna by tasting it himself. A person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness always feels a separation from Krishna, because such a feeling of separation excels the feeling of meeting Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his last 12 years of existence within this world at Jagannath Puri, taught the people of the world how, with the feeling of separation, one can develop his dormant love of Krishna. Such feelings of separation or meeting with Krishna are different stages of love of Godhead. These feelings develop in time when a person seriously engages in devotion service. So these feelings of separation or meeting with Krishna, different stages of love of Godhead. And according to Gaudiya philosophy, feeling of separation is highest. That's a proper right. A person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness always feels separation from Krishna. He never says that I have met Krishna, I've seen Krishna, or I'm with Krishna. Because such a feeling of separation excels the feeling of meeting Krishna. So the highest stage is called Prema Bhakti, but this stage is attained by executing sadhana bhakti. One should not try to elevate himself artificially to the stage of Prema Bhakti without seriously following the regulative principles of sadhana bhakti. Prema Bhakti is a stage of relishing, whereas sadhana bhakti is a stage of improving in devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this cult of devotion service in full detail by practical application in his own life. It is said, therefore, Apani Achari Bhakti Sikhai Mushavare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and in the role of a Krishna Bhakta, or a devotee of Krishna, he instructed the entire world how one can execute devotion service and thus go back to Godhead in due course of time. Because then he has developed love for Krishna. He has come at the stage of Prema Bhakti. And then at that stage, he cannot remain in it. Then he is eligible to go back to his stage. See, many times people ask this question. Oh, you guys are always talking about chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. How are we going to develop love for Krishna? By just chanting and by doing this regular services. But this is what Prabhupada is explaining here. The highest stage is called Prema Bhakti, but this stage is attained by executing Sadhana Bhakti. And earlier, we had studied the two Sadhana Bhaktis, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga Sadhana. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti will take us to Vaikuntha Prema. Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti will take us to Golok Prema. So what? We just have to keep on performing, following the instructions of Prabhupada, and slowly we'll develop this Prema Bhakti. Ratri divase Krishna viraha spuran unmande cheshta kare pralabha vacham. Day and night, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt separation from Krishna, manifesting symptoms of this separation. He cried and talked very inconsistently, like a madman. And this is 12 years. When we go to Jagannath Puri and we go to Gambhira, where he stayed when he was in Puri, and in Gambhira, in that small room, 12 years in that room, and knowing Mahaprabhu's height, he was about 7 feet tall. That room is just too small. But whatever Krishna wants, he can do. And when we study what kind of symptoms he manifested in separation from Krishna, symptoms of love, it's amazing. And this is something those who are not devotees, they cannot understand. They just can't. Just like uh, this movie that has come, something, Kerala Files, Kerala Story, whatever. I don't know if it really happened, the dialogues in that movie. I know the story has happened, but the dialogues is in the Muslim girl is asking Hindu girl what kind of God he is. He's crying after his wife. Or recently I heard, "Oh, what kind of Hindu God you have? He's taking help from the monkeys." But this is the stage, very high stage. We cannot understand those who are not devotees. And now talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in separation from Krishna, he is God himself, and symptoms that he manifested, ordinary person just cannot understand. And they'll just misconstrue what his symptoms are. And that is why scriptures, we have to start from ABC, which is Bhagavad Gita. That is the ABC. Then go up to Bhagavatam. All 10 cantos of Bhagavatam. Then come to the level of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Not just we jump. Of course, even if we jump into Chaitanya Charitamrita, try to read it, have some faith, but try to read it, try to understand. It's Mahaprabhu's mercy. We can still get some mercy. But the understanding, real understanding, takes time. Takes time. He cried and talked very inconsistently like a man. And Gambhira, that place, Gambhira, is not far from Jagannath temple. And can we imagine in Jagannath temple, Jagannath Ji is Krishna in separation from Radharani, that form, that mood of Jagannath. And here, not far from there, in Gambhira, Krishna in the mood of Radharani, in separation from Krishna. And actually, I've been told that there is a tunnel that goes from Gambhira to Jagannath temple. So probably he used to go in that tunnel and take darshan of Jagannath to meet Krishna. I don't know. I've been told. So Jagannath Puri, that's right. It's a very, very mystical place. I don't know. It's only few people might know everything about Jagannath. We just know superficially. We just know, okay, Jagannath is there, Prashadam great, Rath Yatra is great, and a few other things. But it's a very, very mystical place. And that is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed, in that little room, feeling separation from Krishna. Why? Because Krishna himself wanted to taste that love that Radharani has for Krishna and what she goes through when she tastes that love. Shri Radhara Pralap Yache Uddhava Darshan Sei Mata Onama Pralap Kare Ratri Din. As Srimati Radharani talked inconsistently when she met Uddhava, so also Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished both day and night such ecstatic talk in the mood of Srimati Radharani. In this connection, one should refer to Srimati Radharani's soliloquy after meeting Uddhava in Vrindavan. So we studied that in Srimad Bhagavatam. And actually that is when the Brahmara Gita took place. Radharani spoke with that bumblebee, black bumblebee. Not, I won't say mistakenly, because someplace it is mentioned Krishna himself came in the form of that bumblebee. But Srimati Radharani saw that bumblebee and it was black, and she was in so much of separation from Krishna, and especially after meeting Uddhava, as she spoke with that bumblebee, and then bumblebee disappears, and then she laments. That is Radharani's love for Krishna. But some say actually Krishna came in that form of bumblebee. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented a similar picture of such ecstatic, imaginary talking, full of jealousy and madness, symptomizing neglect by Krishna. Srimati Radharani, criticizing a bumblebee, talked just like a mad woman. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the last days of his pastimes, exhibited all the symptoms of such ecstasy. In this connection, one should refer to the 4th chapter of the Adi Lila, verses 107 and 108. Vidyapati Jayadev Chandi Dasir Gita Ashwadena Ramananda Swarupa Sahita. The Lord used to read the books of Vidyapati, Jayadev and Chandidas, relishing their songs with his confidential associates like Sri Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. So Vidyapati was a famous composer of songs about the pastimes of Radha Krishna. He was an inhabitant of Mithila, born in a Brahmin family. It is calculated that he composed his songs during the reign of King Shivasimha and Queen Lakshma Devi in the beginning of the 14th century of the Shaka era, almost 100 years before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 12th generation of Vidyapati's descendants is still living. Vidyapati's songs about the pastimes of Lord Krishna express intense feelings of separation from Krishna, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished all those songs in his ecstasy of separation from Krishna. Jayadev was born during the reign of Maharaj Lakshman Sen of Bengal in the 11th or 12th century of the Shaka era. His father was Bhojadev and his mother was Vama Devi. For many years he lived in Navadvip, then the capital of Bengal. His birthplace was in the Birbhum district in the village Kendu Bilwa. In the opinion of some authorities, however, he is born in Orissa, and still others say that he was born in southern India. Okay, so difference in opinions. He passed the last days of his life in Jagannath Puri. One of his famous books is Gita Govinda, which is full of transcendental, mellow feelings of separation from Krishna. The gopis felt separation from Krishna before the Rasa dance, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Gita Govinda expresses such feelings. There are many commentaries on the Gita Govinda by many Vaishnavas. So in fact, Jagannath ji also, at night, they put on this chadar on Lord Jagannath, which has the whole Gita Govinda written on it. And then he can sleep. Otherwise he cannot sleep. Chandidas was born in the village of Namura, which is also in the Birbhum district of Bengal. He was born of a Brahmin family, and it is said that he also took birth in the beginning of the 14th century, Shakabda era. It has been suggested that Chandidas and Vidyapati were great friends because the writings of both express the transcendental feelings of separation profusely. The feelings of ecstasy described by Chandidas and Vidyapati were actually exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He relished all those feelings in the role of Srimati Radharani, and his appropriate associates for this purpose were Sri Ramanand Rai and Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. These intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu helped the Lord very much in the pastimes in which he felt like Radharani, because they both were Lalita and Vishaka. Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on this connection that such feelings of separation as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoyed from the books of Vidyapati, Chandidas, and Jayadev were especially reserved for persons like Sri Ramanand Rai and Swarup Damodar, who were Paramhansas, men of the topmost perfection, because of their advanced spiritual consciousness. Such topics are not to be discussed by ordinary persons imitating the activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For critical students of mundane poetry and literary men without God consciousness who are after bodily sense gratification, there is no need to read such a high standard of transcendental literature. Persons who are after sense gratification should not try to imitate Raganuga devotional service. The songs of Chandidas, Vidyapati, and Jayadev describe the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mundane reviewers of these songs simply help people in general become debauchees, and this leads only to social scandals and atheism in the world. One should not misunderstand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna to be the activities of a mundane young boy and girl. The mundane sexual activities of young boys and girls are most abominable. Therefore, those who are in the bodily consciousness and who desire sense gratification are forbidden to indulge in discussions of the transcendental pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna. So much careful one has to be, and that is why these pastimes were not discussed in too much detail, even in Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Shukdev Goswami knew not everybody is qualified to hear these pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.